Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Tina Turcasio, and I'm one of the brokers at HIA Insurance. I'll be presenting today's webinar on domestic building insurance, which is one of the services we offer. We also have a dedicated team here for domestic building insurance. Just before So who is HIA Insurance? HIA Insurance is a joint adventure between the Housing Industry Association, HIA, and the largest national industry association representing the residential construction industry in Australia, and Aon, a leading global professional services for providing a broad range of retirement, health solutions. This joint venture provides HIA insurance services with the unique opportunity to leverage the buying power, insurance governance, and risk capability of Aon, as well as accessing the HIA and utilising the deep knowledge of the housing industry. Just before I go on to speak about domestic building insurance, I'd like to just share a couple of the insurances that we can help you support your business within the building industry. We can help you with contract works insurance, which cover builders, contractors and subcontractors against loss or damage to their build during the construction period. Public liability insurance can cover potential liabilities to members of the public for personal injury or personal property. Cyber insurance can cover employers for certain financial losses as a result of a cyber incident, or management liability insurance can help protect a business from many of the risks that are threatened and explode on a bottom line. So DBI insurance, or domestic building insurance, and its objectives. Domestic building insurance, or DBI, provides cover for homeowners who are building or renovating in Victoria. Builders are required to purchase DBI on behalf of the homeowner for all domestic building projects over $16,000. In Victoria, this is a legal requirement. The objectives are to ensure homeowners have the appropriate protections in place if their builder dies, disappears, or becomes insolvent. It provides confidence in the market, and it also aids to support a continued and successful building industry. DBI distributors, there are a total of 4 appointed distributors. The Building and Plumbers Commission, known as the BPC, formerly the VMIA, is the state-owned and operated insurer of DBI. The BPC have 4 appointed distributors, and HIA Insurance Services is one of them. At HIA Insurance Services, we work with our builders to complete new and review eligibility applications for lodgement to the BPC. We support your inquiries regarding the BPC with applications and certificates, have direct access to the BPC systems and underwriters, and we can assist with any project applications or certificates for lodgement to the BPC. How it works. If you are a builder and want to get DBI through the BPC, you must first be eligible. Eligibility outlines the terms of approved to purchase DBI under certain conditions. It tells us the types of projects allowed to get insurance and the maximum value for each project. If we follow the flow chart, it is you apply for the eligibility by completing an application form and submit relevant documentation. It is then submitted to the BPC for a risk assessment. They will complete a full financial review. They then will provide an outcome and with approved limits and generate a letter of eligibility. Once you have your letter of eligibility, you are able to go ahead and purchase and start your contracting works. You will also be given access to the BuildVic portal. A letter of eligibility. Once eligibility has been assessed and approved, the BPC will provide you with a letter of eligibility. This is required to firstly obtain your registration, your DBU number, your registration number, but it also is required to renew your yearly subscription to the BBA. If we have a look at this example, the total construction limit for this builder is $3 million, and he also has a number of categories in which his business will operate under. I'll go into more detail about this in the next couple of slides. So who are they assessing? The BPC, or the applicant that the BPC will review, is the business that you choose to operate through. You either are a sole trader, where you have an individual domestic building license, or you are trading as a company, where you're an individual domestic building license and a company license is required. The way that you trade or the way that you set up your business is probably a discussion with your accountant. What are the BPC assessing? So once they receive your application, the BPC will do a financial health check. They will look into your building history and your project capability. This helps the BPC understand the risk of projects not being completed or being defective. When we speak to our clients, we talk to them about having strong foundations, equity and profits. We assess the business and not your ability as a builder. If the BP notes any claims, this is a trigger and will or may affect your eligibility application with the BPC. We also talk to our clients about being a sustainable business. That means being profitable, availability of funds and equity to assist business requirements, and having the ability to meet financial obligations when and as they require. One of the common things that we say to our clients or to our builders is you can be the best builder, but you also need to be a business manager. So what are the BPC assessing? The BPC will assess each builder on past building performance, type and number of projects proposed, technical and management skills, business history, financial position and solvency. Their financial checks may include net tangible assets and turnover growth, shareholder funds and sales versus sales, profit margins, interest covered and cash flow, working capital, return on equity and assets, payment and collection cycles, business structure and trading history. The eligibility status. So at any given point, if you are new eligibility, you are a new builder applying for new eligibility entering the building industry. If it's a review eligibility, you are an existing builder wanting to apply for an increase to overall limit and or category limits. The BPC can also initiate their own reviews. So a BPC initiated review may be because of past applications that you have submitted, may also be because a builder has referred a project that they want to undertake and that exceeds the current limit. The builder has not undergone a full review in the last 12 to 24 months. The builder's license has been suspended by the VBA, which is now the BPC. The BPC have been notified by ASIC of changes of directorship of a company, or the builder has an outstanding ATO debt. So how do you apply? So as we discussed in previous slides, you either apply as a sole trader or as a company. If you are applying as a sole trader, we will provide an application form as well as a checklist with relevant documentation. The BPC will want to see a completed application form that is complete and accurately completed. They will also want to see full and final individual tax returns for the last 2 financial years. They'll also want to see proof of ownership of properties that you've noted on the application form, current bank statements of personal cash holdings for the individual, the business, or the company, work in progress if you currently have eligibility, or forecast of works if you're looking to ensure future jobs. If you are a company, the checklist is slightly different. The application form remains the same. But if it is a company that's been operating for more than 2 years, full and final company financials must be provided for the last 2 financial years. They must be signed and dated by all directors and the accountant. Interim financials must also be supplied, proof of ownership of properties, current bank statements. If the company is less than 2 years old, then full and final individual tax returns for each and every director or partner in the business. Work in progress if you're an existing builder, and forecast of work if there are any future jobs to ensure. The main things we talk about in terms of what the BPC will look for and the application form is definitely working capital and equity. The next couple of pages are just about the application form and how best to complete it. Once you have submitted all the information, our team will definitely review it before it is submitted to the BPC. But the first 2 pages of the application form are just a little bit about the BPC and who your nominated distributor is, and in that field there you would put HIA Insurance Services. They also provide their own checklist of all the documents that are required with the application form. The next section is if it was a sole trader. So a little bit of information about the sole trader. But in this section here, the important thing is that you are picking sole trader and that your legal entity name matches exactly with your ABN number. The other important thing that the BPC will consider is the taxation status. If you are up to date with your taxation paperwork, or if you have an ATO debt. If you have ticked the ATO debt, the BPC will require an ATO payment plan. They probably don't look too favourably on an ATO payment, but if there is some justification and a payment plan in place, we will submit it with some commentary and notes to support your application. The same page, but just for company. This time you're ticking company, and you must provide an ABN and ACN number. No trading names are to be recorded on the application form. The legal entity name must match exactly the ABN. And again, the taxation status must be recorded. The next section is more about the registered builder. If it's a sole trader, you would be recording all the information about the registered builder of that business. If it is a company, you'd also be recording the same information for the registered builder, but it is important to note that the registered builder must also be a director or one of the directors of the company. Section 4 is about the history and the background. So you will need to select yes if you have obtained domestic building insurance with another insurer, not the BPC. If you have obtained domestic building insurance or currently hold eligibility with another state, or if you hold eligibility under another entity. In these situations, you must tick yes and then provide commentary around each of them. It is important at this stage here to provide as much information here if you have selected one or more of the yes questions to provide the BPC with a better understanding of your history, and it will help them assess your application better and quicker. If you have selected no and they undertake the assessment and discover that one or more of these questions should have been selected as a yes, they will come back requesting additional information, which may delay your application and which will delay the assessment and eligibility process, and it may impact the outcome of your assessment. This section here is about all your limits. So in this section, you would be thinking about your potential pipeline and how much limit or maximum limit you would be required. You would be thinking about what type of jobs that your business will take on. Will they be new builds, multi-units, small jobs, small custom jobs, bathroom renovations? Think about your forecast of works and what is coming up in your pipeline for the next 12 months. Just an example of some of the limits. In this case, the builder has a total construction limit of $4.5 million. So at any point in time, he can have contract works to the value of $4.5 million. As each project finishes, that money is given back to the total construction limit. He has also a range of categories with their own limits. Once you have your letter of eligibility on the BuildVic portal, you'll be able to check your limit at any time. As discussed in this example, the total construction limit is $4 million, $4.5 million, and the available limit is 2.5. This means that the builder currently has $1.4 million available to continue to process work. Back to the application and the final few pages. This page here is about personal assets and liabilities. What the BPC are looking for is property and cash at bank. They rarely take into account motor vehicles, shares, or crypto. They're definitely looking at equity and cash at bank. The last three pages are all about the terms and conditions and what your agreement with the BPC is. The terms and conditions cannot be amended, but must be read to ensure that you've understood the terms and conditions. The last page, and very important page, is considered a statutory declaration and is labelled as such. The BPC take this very seriously. You must handwrite all the information on this page, and it must be witnessed by an authorised witness, which could be a pharmacist, a police officer, or an accountant. Because we review all the paperwork and all your documentation, we normally get our builders complete this as the last thing that they do to ensure that we have all the information ready to be submitted and that this page is submitted accurately. So just to review, HIA services will look over the eligibility application form and documents provided as per the checklist. Once we have obtained all the required information, we will lodge the application with the BPC. Currently, those applications are taking between 8 to 10 weeks from the date of submission for the BPC to process and provide an outcome. The BPC may request additional information during the assessment, but we try and avoid this by making sure that we have everything before submission. The BPC may also assess they assess every application on a case-by-case basis. And they do have more information on their website if you'd like to gather more information about assessment of eligibility. Once we have been notified by the VPC of the assessment outcome, we advise the builder. Just to finish off as we're coming to the end of the presentation, some of the more common questions that we have around applications and eligibility include financial information. The BPC will only accept up-to-date financial information and in proper accounting format. They will not accept any trading names, so applications must match ABN exactly. A company must have an ABN and an ACN number. Directors, if there's more than one partner or director, they must all complete their own personal asset page and statutory declaration page. Any changes to the application because it is considered statutory declaration, must be signed and initialed. So any changes or cross-outs or mistakes must be signed and initialed. When you're submitting tax returns, they would like to see the full tax return, not just the notice of assessment. Bank transactions must include at least 90 days of bank transactions with an account name and account balance. And all assets that are listed in terms of property that are listed on the assets statement page must be personal assets. They can include a partner, but the BPC will only consider 50% of the total of the asset. So we've come to the end of the presentation. I hope we've answered some of your questions and given you some insight into the process with the BPC and applications and eligibility and how we might help you. I might just give you a few minutes to see if there's any questions, and I'll be happy to answer those. Okay, well, thanks for joining, everyone. But if you think of any questions later on, please reach out to us. We have a team here that is more than willing to help and answer any of your questions, not only in terms of warranty or domestic building insurance, but general insurance also. Just a reminder, these DBI webinars are held every quarter, so you're welcome to join in again. The next one will be in November, and we'll be sending out communication about this. Otherwise, like we said, if you have any questions or want to have a chat, so I think I just saw a question, maybe. So I just saw a question, so I'll answer that one. Once you've got eligibility, how do you apply for DBI for a specific job? So you can easily apply for a certificate of insurance. So if you have access to BuildVic, you can actually generate your own certificate. It's very user friendly, and we've got videos to help you for the first couple of times that you do that. If not, we are more than happy we can send you out an application form, and we will process that for you within 48 hours. Just remembering with the certificate of insurance, once it's generated, it has to be paid for before it is released to yourself and to the homeowner. I have another question. What is the entity name in the VBA? The entity name is your legal entity name, so exactly as it matches with your ABN. So if you have your ABN registration papers, the legal name will be listed there. That name must be used everywhere with the VBA, which is now the BPC. Is it going to be harder to increase DBI amount now the BPC and VMIA are together? As far as we know, nothing has changed in terms of applying for eligibility or increasing your limits on eligibility. The same no document on the checklist, the documents have not changed. It is all to do with a full financial review. So as in the past, they've always asked for tax returns, rates notices, bank statements. So that hasn't changed. The only thing that we say to all our builders is you need to make sure that you're financially sound and that the limit you are requesting actually supports, the limit you are requesting is supported by your financial stance. A couple more questions. What was the website for BuildVic? So a couple of websites that you can go to for more information. So it's now called the BPC, so the Builders Plumbing Commission. Just for information, you could go to the BPC and look under domestic building insurance. If you are wanting to generate your own certificate for an upcoming job, it's the BuildVic portal. So if you have eligibility, you would have been sent a link by the BPC with access to BuildVic. BuildVic is a portal that belongs to the BPC. So checking your emails, sometimes checking your spam folders for the login or the link to BuildVic portal so you can generate your own certificates. The BuildVic portal will also give you a running, you can always check your limits on the BuildVic portal. So anything to do with your current eligibility status will be on the BuildVic portal. One more question, I think. There is a question here, how to register with the VBA. Just remember that the VMIA and the VBA, who were two separate entities, have now joined to be one called the BPC. If you are looking to get information from the old VBA to get about licensing, you need to get in contact with the BPC and ask for their licensing department. Okay, this change has only happened from the 1st of July, so I think everyone is still trying to work it out. So if the question is how to register for the VBA, then you need to either check the BPC's website or call the BPC and ask for their licensing department. Okay, we've got a couple more minutes if there's any more questions. Okay, looks like there's no more questions, but I thank everyone for joining today. Like I said, we do this again in November. Yeah, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us here at HIA Insurance. Thank you.